more I went to move, the more it touched me.
It's really
It was
cold.
a high-pitched laugh,
Yeah,
like a
it's
female.
really cold behind me. Not that I don't like it, I just have goosebumps on the back of my neck.
You do? That's interesting.
You just like look.
In September 2019, Haunted Horizons went to investigate the old Licking County Jail in Ohio. Built from distinctive brownstone, Licking County Jail operated from 1889 through to 1987. During its operation, the jail saw many deaths, including murder and suicide, the most tragic being Carl Etherington, who ended up being lynched by an angry mob. Paranormal activity has been reported, including dark figures, screams, and strange light anomalies. We found from the very beginning, we seem to get odd things happening.
Yeah, I'll see if I can.
See if something happens to you guys.
With a guy who had come up, he was on an investigation, and he was standing about the middle of the room. He was kind of looking towards the pantry, and he was like asking for David, hey, there's a bunch of, me and my friend, 2 guys up here, come on out. His buddy started heading to the first bedroom over there, and he said he was just kind of panning the room out and, hey, come on out. I'm sure he probably wouldn't be nice about it. And he said within minutes of calling for David in the back of the pantry, and it's ironic you're standing that way, because he said a very tall man stood with his arms crossed just like this in the very back, all black. I heard a laugh.
I don't.
No, it was a high-pitched laugh.
And I
It was
didn't
a
want to
high
interrupt you,
pitch.
but it's really
It was
cold.
a high-pitched laugh,
Yeah,
like a
it's
female.
really cold behind me. I didn't want to interrupt you, but it's
Interesting.
really cold
Okay.
in the pantry behind me.
So that was none
That
of
was
you
a
guys?
high-pitched laugh.
I heard
I heard Jason go,
Yeah,
No,
Jason
did you-
made that noise with
But I
his
heard-
foot. But
No, it was a
Yeah, it
female.
was a female high-pitched
See,
laugh.
I heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
Which is
And
why I
heard
looked
back
at you
there.
three, because I thought one of you laughed.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it full stop. Hopefully it got on here.
I
Yeah.
hope it's on there.
Because I was recording at the time, but I'm back
Yeah,
here, so I
y'all
might
heard it.
not
Yeah,
have been
That's
close enough.
really
Okay.
weird.
Yeah,
Well-
it came from back around the corner here.
Well, there's nothing there.
Yeah, that's
there's nothing there.
just ends.
Would have been
That's just a little.
Well, okay, so with that being said, yeah, that's, I
Wow.
heard it all the way over
Cold
here.
behind me there.
Oh, yeah. it was
Okay.
like-
Right before that happened.
And it's not
Yeah,
cold in
that's
here
what
because
I
I'm
heard.
sweating.
Yeah,
so,
no, it was
yeah.
on
Makes sense to
on the
what
back
you
of my
it would be something
Yeah.
like
arm
that.
right here.
Once you
Okay.
know, without really thinking about it.
Right.
If you would have
That's
said it's
so
funny.
strange.
Well, let me back that up just because because of what we just heard. We had a friend of ours, Jeff Fint, had his Geo box here, and it was in that pantry, and we're kind of asking questions and all this stuff. Well, all of a sudden, a little kid comes through his Geo box, plain as day, and says, "Hi, Daddy," and it was a high pitched. So
Yeah.
that's interesting that was a
That
higher
is.
pitch.
I couldn't tell whether it was a woman or a child.
Right.
It was kind of
Right. Okay, can you do a high pitched giggle? A little bit quieter. That's what it was.
And you can hear the reverb.
That's what
So
it
if you knew
was.
it was in here because
Yes.
of the reverb to it, yeah.
Fantastic.
I could hear the reverb on the walls in there. So
That's fantastic.
I hope that was picked up.
I hope it's big. 'cause
Oh, it's
I
like
didn't
the
actually
hospital.
hear it, so I'm not
Sure
sure.
of minor injuries, sicknesses, anything that they could handle that they would have done here in this room. We did have a hospital right about a block away on North 3rd Street, so anything significant probably would have went up there. So this room is very strange, and that's all I can really tell you. Anybody feeling weird?
I felt a little bit weird, but I'm not sure it's because it was a dark room going into it that my mind's kind of already apprehensive. So
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because if you notice, Teri and I don't cross the threshold. There's a reason. When we come in, we feel like we're in a fun house. Almost like your equilibrium's off, medicine, you got like a cold, a flu, you know how you feel. You feel like you're off. We've had so many people with the exact same claims come in here. We can't even literally walk in, and it almost makes you sick. That bathroom, people have said that they don't like the bathroom, they don't like the mirror, they don't like anything about it.
okay.
We don't really know why. You don't like the bathroom?
Not that I don't like it, I just have goosebumps at the back of my neck.
You do. That's interesting.
He's just like looking at me as I'm telling him, so it's like, yeah, there's nothing, like I said, I mean.
I just always feel like I'm standing crooked in there.
Yeah.
It's just, it's weird.
Yeah, it's almost like a fun house feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that just recently, last 6 months started happening to me, and I'm like, But everybody that comes out of it, and as soon as they cross the threshold, they're fine. So, yeah. Okay, so
I don't get any of that, I just got the goosebumps on my neck, and that's the only place I had goosebumps on my neck.
That's interesting.
just from the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's weird. Maybe you should just like feel things out before I tell the tour.
That's a movie.
Literally, you were confined to your cell. You didn't have this exercise spot at all until about the 1920s. State standards come in and said you have to give these guys something. This is inhumane. When we opened in 1889, we had no running water, no nothing. Those showers weren't here. That's all more current. You'll see the TV housing units. Obviously, that wasn't there. But yeah, this was pretty inhumane. They had one night bucket in each cell. It was one lantern, so you can imagine how dark this would have been at night. They actually had to share baths as well, once a week. One bucket of water would come up. The first inmate, you can imagine. The last inmate, you only can imagine what they smelled like. Like they had to share.
You say they shared what?
Water, one bucket of water once a week.
Bath water.
Or a bath.
Bath water.
Mine had a tub of here, but we're not sure. We haven't seen anything. So it was one time a week. It was either a bucket of water. And the last one you just.
What's interesting about this is that these are all filtering, where you go to go into this balls. So when you go to balls.
Well, this was
In the beginning. Again, you're going to see the elevator shaft and it goes all the way down, so that's where the door is back here. I just kind of quickly want to remind you, 160 inmates, most male. Also, juveniles, young as 8 years old. Because when you go in here, it's going to be kind of a reality, because I'm going to take you on a walk, just like the sheriff would have, okay? So each cell, at one point, housed up to 6 grown men per cell. These are 8x8s. Upstairs luxury compared to what you're about to see. When I say there was 6, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They were laying on the floor. They said they couldn't even turn on their sides. There was no shoulder room. Okay.
Yeah, during overcrowded conditions, what are you gonna do? You
Yeah.
gotta get them all in here
That's
somehow.
in the heat of summer as well.
Oh, yeah.
It would be putrid, wouldn't it?
So if everybody would look towards the cells, I want to show you guys these little tiny slots right here, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it was like. These little slots in the back of the windows right here was for their dog food trays. They were only 6-inch by 9-inch trays, not very big. Also, if you guys look at the windows, I want to point this out to also put perspective on what it was like in here. This plexiglass was not here, and neither was that diamond pattern back there. The only thing that was here was those bars. So in the winters, it was colder than cold, and in the summers, it was hotter than hot.
Yes.
And that's what they considered an open air jail. And this is exactly the way they would have walked. Over here is the original heating, which is just a simple little fireplace. That's it. So in the winters, like I said, open air jail. This guy right here, he would have been nice and toasty, but the guy diagonal from him, not so much. And then it blows my mind thinking 6 grown men per cell in 110-degree weather up here. Like I can't even fathom that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Here he is.
So these cots are not the original cots. They would have just had the cloth ones. And like I said, there would have been 2 on one wall and 2 on the other. Then the 5th and 6th guy would have been underneath.
Wow.
Now people are asking about the kids, as young as 8 years old. What would they have done? Why would they have come here? Well, it could have been back then anything. You just unruly, you didn't listen to your parents, you came to jail. The crazy part is you were housed anywhere there was an open bed. So if there was a rapist, murderer, or whatever, but they had a bed open for you, 8 years old, that's where you went. They were not picky about, it was too crowded. Even at 14, 15, 16, young teenager, you were housed with these guys. Makes it really, I have everybody back here, except one.
Yeah, Jason.
It's always long. I am going to let you guys know that you are on the floor with the most deaths. There was 7 deaths up here. She's like, the more deaths, the better.
Crazy floor.
And Roy Dwight Crow Jr., 1966, hung himself with a towel and a belt from his pants from that cell. And
He
this
did
is
it
a,
again.
Oh
uh-huh.
my God.
This is a new
Yeah,
find.
I know.
I didn't know about
And
that
I'm gonna take pictures
You
of
guys
this.
don't know this.
But my nephew came up
It's
here and
new.
he was like really like, my
It's a new
nephew,
death.
he really like looks at things, and if you can see the names, you can still kind of see the names and the doors and stuff. And he's like really looking at stuff, and Crow's last name's right here, carved in the door, C-R-O-W. So if you got a light in it, it will show you right there. So we were able to stamp this and say this was his cell, and this is the one he hung himself in. Right here.
So many people I've seen it myself, is like what we call a peekaboo man. And he just kind of like looks around the corner, and then it's just a black shadow, outline of a man. Can't tell if there's a hat or anything, but just kind of peeks and then comes back in. So watch for that tonight too. Yeah, and then we had a guest. It was a public ghost hunt, but they claimed they didn't capture it on film, but they had some pretty incredible equipment with them as well. But they claimed something crawled out of the last cell on the left. Once it's seen them,
Just had to
it
say
scurried
crawl.
back in.
Yeah.
Anything but a crawler.
Yeah,
Or creeper.
Just had to say creepy and
I'm so
crawly.
sorry, but yeah.
Fine
Yeah.
until that point.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Anything that's crawling on the ground, nah.
If
That's,
anything crawls on the ground, will be an Allison-shaped hole.
I'll be out of here.
Yeah, one of those Disney things, it's like,
Yeah,
Oh.
like the Roadrunner.
Yes.
that's exactly it.
I'll be at the nearest bar. What's this one for? Did I miss?
That's a
Shower.
That's a shower.
Don't touch the soap.
Yeah,
Apparently
he
it's been
picked up
there
the
since
soap
it's-
already.
The soap's been there since it closed in '87.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're not-
So you've probably got something really
Yeah,
horrible now.
probably.
It's, oh, look at this.
This is kind of neat.
That's
And
it.
apparently that soap's been there since it closed.
Get in focus. Oh my God. And you touched it.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a prop. I thought maybe they put it there as a prop and I picked it up. Nope. Then I said, hey, how long's that soap been there? And they said, it's
I mean-
been
As he's sitting there holding it. Put it down.
Whoops.
Remember we were having to do it by hand?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you
so
can
closes.
manually shut those.
That's interesting with the them crawling out of the last time we left. That'd be some of that picture. You said something was down low.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something.
I don't really know. It
I want one for
freaked
my
me out.
house.
It freaked me out. Because that's.
I put it on my bed or something.
Yeah, that's it. Go to bed now.
Actually, a cool
You need
effect.
to do that for her camera because you're the intense face that you had. Show her.
Slow motion.
Here is that of Carl Etherington. He was hired in Granville, Ohio with 19 other officers to be a dry agent detective. At the time, that's with the plaque
Yeah.
outside where you guys got your picture taken beside. At the time, Newark, Ohio was a horrible town. This is July 8th, 1910, so it's during Prohibition. And they were hired, 20 men were hired along with Carl Etherington to come in here and close down some of the brothels and bars. So he had went into the Last Chance Saloon, got into a scuffle with a William Howard. William Howard pulled out his blackjack and started beating him with it. And Carl Etherington felt he needed to pull a service revolver, and he did. And he shot him in the abdomen. Well, he actually, once they finally caught up with Carl Etherington, they brought him in here, threw him in the cell, booked him here for safekeeping, because like I said, this is a bad town. They don't want this to be a dry county or anything like that. So when they did that, it upset the mob, and a mob of about 5,000 men and women and children all formed on the north side of the jail, I guess, right beside the canal. So you remember seeing the picture with the canal and everything running beside it? Imagine 5,000 people out there and they want you dead. And you hear how loud my voice is in here. Can you imagine that many people outside? I mean, he had to be scared to death. So he did a couple times try to kill himself. He put a coat over his head and tried to set it on fire. He was trying all kinds of things because he knew. Well, they ended up busting into the jail. They say that he used, a telegraph pole to actually bust the doors down to get in here, came up here, about beat him to death in the cell, and ended up dragging him out the north side of our jail, taking him to the southeast corner of our square and lynching him. So when his father came here to claim his body from Willisburg, Kentucky, they found out he was only 17 years old. So he had lied about his age. He was 15 years old. He joined the Marines. At 17, he became a dry agent detective, for this special little group to try to clean up this town. So it's just a really sad story. So a lot of people have reported just hearing different things in here, flashlight activity. All of these cell blocks, you might hear boot steps and, see different light anomalies and things like that. So, just pay attention to that. But he's probably our matriarch of our jail, because it's just such a sad story.
Yeah.
It's just can you imagine? And then I guess before he was lynched, his last words were, "Please tell my mother I died in the performance of my duty." I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. But I mean, a 15-year-old Marine and a 17-year-old dry agent detective, what a driven child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the day after. They, like we said, they use a telegraph pole, they use ladders, they even use railroad tie. This door right here would have been the entry point that they would have came in. But if you notice in that picture, the wood is actually fine in that picture. Now, this is not the original wooden door, but the bars are.
Okay.
Now, here's something else. They beat in the door. In the reports, they beat in the door. Those don't swing inwards, they swing outwards.
Yeah.
We did find out, and we're still working on it, that several higher ups, like the mayor and a couple of commissioners, even a jailer, had all lost their jobs due to this. It's believed that they slipped the key to this crowd. It was overwhelming, and it was, oh my gosh, we're all gonna die if we don't do something. Give them the boy. And that's what they did. So, but yeah, it's something when I see the day after and it's like, oh, they beat down the door and they did this. Clearly it's, you can come up with your own idea with that. I mean,
Does it
really.
look spotless, doesn't it?
If you guys come through this door later on, you have to turn this key at the same time you pull on the handle.
Yeah, it's
So
the same thing.
wait a minute, before
Oh,
we
yeah.
go there,
Yeah.
I wanna tell you guys, I was doing a flashlight tour and like everybody was right here, and me and this little teenage girl was right here, and she's getting ready to take a picture in here, and we saw this black shadow figure. I wish it would have been a full body apparition, like, with detail, but it walked just like this across the doorway.
Oh, nice.
Didn't know we were there or anything like that, but the weird thing was that like right above his eyes up was at this door frame.
Wow.
Like it was tall. And I mean, it scared that little girl to death. And she was just getting ready to take a picture. And I said, please tell me you took that picture. And she didn't. I mean, I feel bad that I said that, but because she was so scared, she wanted to jump. I thought she was going to jump in my back pocket.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to get with them about their situation.
Okay, I don't remember any of it.
Whatever.
I don't remember a whole lot of it, to be honest.
Yeah, we still gotta watch our,
Yeah, we still have to
Did
watch
somebody
it.
just goes,
To be honest. To be honest.
yeah, we still gotta watch our,
Yeah, we still have to
did
watch
somebody
it.
just goes,
Yeah, that's right behind me. That's why I'm like, okay, what is that?
it was,
I have all of you
Someone
here.
had done that.
did anybody do that?
No,
No, I literally heard it back here.
I heard it.
Okay.
You heard it too?
Was it like,
I looked at Holly to see
Like
what
to
her
get
mouth was
yeah,
doing.
like this.
where's the bells?
It's a strange sound.
Somebody in here?
I didn't hear it.
So this cell right here is of Walter Robertson, and this is crazy trying to get through a tour when all this stuff's happening.
I know.
My brain's everywhere. And this little area right here is the drum tank. Yes, be careful what you say.
He dropped.
Demonstrating.
He's demonstrating how.
Yeah, I just thought we like to reenact.
Okay, okay.
That was okay.
I'll just let you follow. She just reenacted.
See this, the comparison?
Oh,
So that's Mayor Atherton, the
Yeah.
mayor at the time of Carl's death.
right.
It looks just like the apparition that was captured down here.
Here, look. So if you can see that picture there, because it's a bigger picture. So there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we can move it.
Yeah, that would just, because unless you're a vampire and see through the red, I don't think it's going to work.
So is it just a pareidolia on the wall, or?
Well, we tried that. We tried to look at that, but his face is in front of the grout lines.
Yeah, it's in, yeah.
It's in
grout
front of the
lines.
grout lines, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it?
Walk out of the room and they said, well, I'm not feeling it anymore. And I felt just a brush right across my fingertips as I was standing here.
Wow.
Yeah, kept touching Teri too. It touched you on your nose.
Yes.
And yeah, this is still a cold spot right here. I mean, you feel that.
Yeah, it's still cold.
It's way colder right here. It feels like it's almost actually getting colder and colder.
I can even feel it on the front of my legs, but it's colder. You guys walk in here and see
Yeah, I'll see if I can.
see if something happens to you guys.
Feel how cold it is right in here. It is cold.
Yeah, it's like over here.
Sure, isn't it? Oh yeah, there. Right there, yeah.
And it wasn't
that
like
Holly?
that when we walked in.
Ollie.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know
the door
Holly.
of the office, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's really weird. Maybe, but why is it? No, maybe too.
It was as we started to walk out the door. It was like something touched me on the arm, and then my hair started raising up. The more I went to move, the more it touched me. It was almost creeping me out. And then we did our arms, Jason and I, our arms side by side, and his hair just started raising up on his arm, just like mine was.
Yeah, you just know it's instinct, isn't it, when that starts to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really interesting, yeah. It's almost like it's kind of moving.
Because it was right over here. It was right here to begin with.
Yeah.
Then Teri walked over here.
And
it followed her
Yes.
over here.
Right.
And it was cold right here, which it's not now.
Cold. it
Then
was
she
cold in the
stepped out,
doorway.
and then Jason stepped out, and it moved back this way, and now it's back over here.
Then that's when it touched his
And that's
hand.
when it's like it moved past my hand almost.
Yeah.
It brushed up against my hand. It was weird. It was really weird. Did you touch my hand? Is that your way of trying to get my attention?
Don't you dare tell me to shut up.
Let's get fish if you want. That's what cool. That's really good.
And I'm wondering.
What was that? I was.
That was a really good session.
But it was like.
It really was.
It's like.